Hey guys, I am so excited about today. These launches I've shared with you in the past. I love being able to develop new product for you and then introduce it and then teach you how to be able to use it. So a lot of you may not know, for over 30 years, Jean and I manufactured furniture. And one of the processes that we had in developing and making our furniture was creating our own appliques out of WoodCast. And so it's exciting for us to be able to introduce the product of WoodCast to you, and it has been a huge success. And it will continue because it's going to be something that you can use in your making of decor items, in flipping furniture, and being able to really create beautiful details and carvings to the pieces of furniture that you are working on. So, in order to be able to use the WoodCast to its fullest ability, you've got to be able to have beautiful, classical, artistic designs in your molds. So, ta-da! Introducing the Amy Howard at Home original copyrighted designs. If you'll notice, look at the detail on these molds. You've gotten a little bit of a sneak peek on some of the videos that we've been doing, teaching demolding and that type thing. But one thing I'm really excited about these molds, while these are my own original designs, they have background in 17th and 18th century designs, which is classical European old world finishes. That's why I love teaching that to you. And so I want you to see the thickness of these molds, the density of the molds, the quality is like none other. I'm so proud of it. And also the deepness of the mold and the details of the actual designs themselves gives you so much ornamentation that you can recreate. It's so easy when you're working with the WoodCast. You can easily press it in the molds. We're going to go over that in just a minute. And then after they're dry, after several hours, they will release. And then in these new molds, it will give you just a gorgeous, gorgeous, look at that, detail that you can, if you had not heard this already, after this is completely dried, and usually I like them to dry overnight in my molds. After they've dried probably 5 or 6 hours, you're okay to take them out. I just like leaving them overnight personally. But after they've dried overnight, you can pop this into your microwave, put it on about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on your microwave and how intense it is. And it will take the WoodCast to a pliable material. So I will pop this in the microwave and then it makes it moldable again, so that way I can flex it if I want to be able to wrap it around the arm of a chair, if I want to be able to go in and use it as far as detail on a frame and be able to mold it over. It gives you so much versatility. But the exciting thing that I'm really excited about today is launching our first 3 molds. In just a few weeks, we're going to be launching 5 additional molds. And the exciting thing is we are putting a bundle together for you so that way you can have savings if you get all 3 molds. So I'm going to turn this down. I want to be able to show you all the molds and some of the finished product that we have made with the WoodCast. And then we're going to walk through just a little bit on how to be able to use the molds with WoodCast as well as CeramiCast. So today, we are going to launch these 3 new designs. And before I show you all of them, I wanted to show you something. So this is just a plain piece of wood that I like doing my samples on. Those of you that are decorative artists that you like working with, designers or clients that you want to be able to really create beautiful finishes like this with appliques on them, you see what a difference it can make and really make it come to life. Or even if you're wanting to be able to create your own trim, anytime you see this raised element that looks hand carved, that's what the appliques and making them allows you to be able to do. So I wanted to show you that. And then also, before, I wanted you to see the difference. So these were some of the molds that we've had in the past. They were great. They came in handy. They were easy to work with. But the density of the material, you see how kind of flimsy they are. They're not bad, but they're just really flimsy. And when you're working with the WoodCast, it's hard to be able to get it down in there and it stay pliable. Now I want to show you our brand new molds that we have. We've also put the Amy Howard logo mark and our name on these because these are copyrighted designs and you're not going to see them anywhere else. But this one, you see the density of this silicone that these are made out of are really, really thick. They're beautiful to work with. And it makes it, because they're very, very deep. Do you see the thickness of this mold? They're really, really thick to be able to get down and create all the detail that you want to be able to have. So this is one of the first molds that we have. And you see it's actually quite large. So this particular mold is actually 10 inches long and 7 1/4 inches wide. So it gives you a lot of space to be able to work with. Again, these molds can be worked with. You can use them for food, for chocolates. If you are going to be using them for cake decorating and that type thing, I would really suggest getting 2 molds. One to be able to use with your fondants and your icings and your chocolates and things like that. And then use one that you can use with CeramiCast, WoodCast, and resins. So these are silicone molds and they're so easy and so fun to work with. So this is the first one. Again, it's 10 by 7 1/4. And some of the designs, as far as I've already done these in WoodCast, I wanted you to be able to see the detail on them. I love this one because one, it's so wide, it will be beautiful on being able to create my samples, but also imagine being able to create this detail on the apron of a piece of furniture, maybe to be able to go around the perimeter of a large drawer. You can even use the WoodCast, or even if you like doing these in resins or clays, you can use these on a wall to be able to have it to where your wainscoting, your trim. The versatility of this is really quite spectacular. And of course, we've got some videos of some of our influencers of how they've actually gone on and used this one in particular. Patricia has shown how she's used it on a piece of furniture. And this is a rolling coin design, and it did such a spectacular job on really elevating the piece that she was painting. And this is another one on, look at that, and that's spectacular. So that way, Jean's going to be showing you in just a minute how to be able to go on and use these with the WoodCast. I just wanted to be able to show you some of our new designs. Another one of the designs that I love, and they really do complement one another, because I love how these two can go together in whatever you're using, maybe a trumeau, maybe an artistic piece. There's so many things that you can use it on, but I love this Regency urn, and it's got the little drop on it here. I want to be able to show you what it looks like made. And look at that. Isn't that spectacular? Look at the detail here on this. It's just really, really sweet. Again, you can, with the WoodCast, after this is completely dried overnight, you can pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds to a minute and it will become pliable. So that way you can shape it into the shape that you need, and then it will harden again and it'll be just like wood. This does not have polymers or resins in it. It's just like wood. It will stain like wood. You can carve it like wood. So you need to be able to glue it like wood. And you want to, if this had been hand carved, it has some delicate natures to it. And so you want to be careful with it. Because if I wanted to, I could just snap that off right here, but I'm being careful with it because it's like it's been personally carved for me to be able to use on my piece of furniture. This would also be beautiful on a drawer. We've also got some other drapings like this in molds that you could use that would continue that garland on a drawer if you used it on that. Another thing that I love from this particular mold that you'll see at the top is this oak leaf. I think oak leaf is very classical in nature, and I've got one here. This is just a smaller part of it, but look at the detail on that and the thickness of that leaf. Isn't that spectacular? Again, you can create multiple ones of these to be able to be garlands. I think this would be great on a trumeau as well as on a drawer front, an apron. It has a lot of versatility. And then last but definitely not least, this mold is also 10 by 7. And then the third mold that we have that we're introducing today is this particular mold. And I love this one because it complements, I love the lion's head at the top. I love how it comes down with the bows. So when you look at these, be thinking of how you can use them all individually. You might just use the lion head on a particular design. You might want to be able to come back in and just use maybe the bows. So let's say, let me just show you. So you might just want to use the bows on a particular project. So that way you might just cast this part here. Or especially the garland, we've got it going both directions. So that way he could be maybe on the leg of a piece. So it would go down and you can fold the leaves around the leg. Also, I love this acanthus leaf. It's great because if you've seen them, I have actually 2 bergère chairs that we did in the studio that are in my master bedroom. And these are great to be able to, again, pop in the microwave with the WoodCast, make it where it's pliable, and you can fold these around maybe the front of the arm of your bergère chair. So there's so much versatility, different ways to be able to use it. And because the molds are so deep, it allows you a lot of versatility in depth on creating such beautiful appliques. You know, this might even be a great business for someone to be able to get into, that they make appliques with our molds and resell them. If you have an Etsy shop, or especially if you're a furniture, if you love flipping furniture, if you're a decorative artist, these can also be used on walls. You can also use them as art and making your own decorative frames. It's really quite versatile. All right, so these are the 3 molds that we have that we're introducing today. And now I want to go over, just briefly, I want to go over how to be able to use them with the WoodCast.
Well, thanks for joining us. I would like to show you how we use our WoodCast in our mold. This is one of the designs of many that we have, and we love it because, as Amy had spoke with you before about how we like the density of these silicone molds. They're so good. Some of the things that we're going to need today as we do this is, one, you want to be in a well-ventilated area and or have a fan that is some type of air fan that can push some air across, because we will be working with some acetone, which is same as fingernail polish remover. So we will be using our WoodCast, and we will have some protective things like these are nitrile gloves, but these are not the thin ones. These are a 6 or 9 millimeter glove instead of the real thin 3 millimeter gloves. So they're a little heavier because, again, we're working with the acetone. Another thing we'll be using is a heavy-duty N95 mask. That just helps us with the help protect us while we're breathing, especially because of the acetone. So it's just a safety measure. And then, of course, we'll be using our, again, any 100% pure acetone fingernail polish remover you can get at any store, drugstore, or a hardware store. So first thing we'll do is we'll open our WoodCast container, and you'll notice it'll be in a plastic bag to keep the air out. So that way you'll have it fresh every time you need to use it. We're going to keep it in that. We're also going to use a little paper cup, or you can use glass, to put the acetone in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put about an ounce of acetone in here, and you'll need to, as you're using this, you will need to add to it because the WoodCast will be absorbing some of that. So what I've done, I've pinched off, and I'm going to break this up. You want to use, don't put more than you need, but just what you feel like you'll need. And I'm going to put it in there. The acetone will just make the WoodCast more pliable. So I'll take that out, and then I'll start with a little bit and start pushing it into the mold. You can start anywhere. I'll usually start in the middle or the deepest point and then start working my way. And then you can dip your finger into the acetone to help spread, because this acetone will start to flash off relatively quick. And we'll just keep doing that. Sure that you're really putting some pressure on that, because you want to get that into the crevices of your mold to get all the detail. And then I'll just keep putting a little acetone on my finger and pushing this around. And you do want to kind of clean your mold as you're going along with the excess, so that you're not having to trim that later after you demold.
About how long would you tell everybody that it's good to stay in the mold?
You know,
after they've done this?
In shallow molds like this, I would say at least 4 hours. And when you get into the deeper, thicker molds, you're going to need about overnight.
Look, I can tell on the first one that you did how it's already right here. It's starting to dry.
Mm-hmm. And if that happens and you need that to be more pliable, again, just take some acetone, put it on your finger, and then just start pushing that around.
The other thing, too, guys, as Gina's working on this, you know, the great thing, this is a section, imagine this on a larger piece. You can take really simple demi-lune designs. You can, your drawer fronts, even your cabinetry, if you want to be able to add some really beautiful detail, even on a piece of furniture that you're going to lacquer, that you're going to use the milk paint on. This can make a huge difference. We've even seen it where people will create a frieze or relief that you could do these and gild them and then frame them in an acrylic frame. And it looks like a gilded fragment. Because with the WoodCast, it is just like wood. It doesn't have resins and polymers in it that make it like plastic. So this stains like wood, it carves like wood,
Paints
it cuts like wood. What?
Paints like wood.
Paints like wood. So it really does give you the versatility that you needed, especially those of you that have fallen in love with our milk paint finishes. This is a real opportunity for you to be able to kind of come in that world. But again, you can use our molds with CeramiCast. You can use it with resins. We just love the WoodCast because it really does give you a gorgeous, very detailed, beautiful wood carving applique now that you can make yourself. That looks great. So that's kind of easy. So that way when you're finished, when we release this from the mold, what's the best way for people to be able to clean the mold so it's ready to use again and again?
Well, you can take a little blunt knife or something and scrape the excess off, and then come back with a cotton rag and some acetone and finish cleaning it, because again, the acetone will reactivate this.
And if you're worried, if you have some other high density silicone molds from other companies, the WoodCast is not going to affect it, and you don't have to have a releasing agent at all. It pops right out without any problem.
Just want to make sure we've got all the excess off.
Don't you love, though, how dense and how sturdy our new molds are as far as creating this and pushing them down in there?
Yes, I like it that it doesn't give and flex. But again, you can use the you can use the other molds with this as well, which we've done. And I'm having to get the excess off so that we
You
don't...
do want to make sure that you've got a nice smooth back, so that way you come back and you glue this onto something.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah. And then with this excess, we still have some leftover WoodCast. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that out of our paper cup.
Can you use a glass cup too?
Oh
Or
yes,
glass
we
old
can.
glass
We can
container?
use glass, and we're just going to put it back in our bag. And then, if you want to, your excess acetone, you can pour that. If this now, not if you're using it for fingernail polish remover, but if you're just using that just for your WoodCast, you can put the acetone back into the bottle of acetone. And then now we've gotten that back in, and we're going to seal that back off, and we're ready for the next time.
So as far as the shelf life on the WoodCast, it's got a 12-month shelf life, but that's making sure that you don't leave the WoodCast out laying in the air, because air will have a tendency to dry it out. That's the reason for the acetone.
Yes, once it gets, it is an air dry, and what happens is the acetone will flash off or dry off.
Right.
And then...
All right, so now let's go in. I want to transition, and I want to show them how they can now take their beautiful new applique. This is the design dried that Jean just did here. How to be able to glue it onto a piece of furniture before they paint it.
Now next, in order for us to attach our WoodCast mold or cast, applique, thank you, onto our wood, we're going to need a wood a product, a glue for wood. But the nice thing about this is a fast adherence. I think it's about a 10 or 15 minute set time. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put a little bit, won't take much, but try to get it in the raised areas.
This is why it's important, again, to make sure that the back has been smoothed out with your finger, as you were doing on that last one.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll drop that down. And then we're going to hold it with some pressure for about 15 seconds.
So what if somebody's working on a drawer front or an apron so it's more horizontal and it's not laying flat? Are they good to try to put that on the floor so that way they can tape this and get it to attach easier?
Well, the nice thing is that's why it's a quick set, so that you don't have to tape it. A normal wood glue.
Okay.
It's going to take an hour to 2 hours before it sets. Where this is more of like a super glue type that is made for wood, and it'll set in 15 seconds as opposed to 1 to 2 hours. And you just hold it in place, and then we're done.
Awesome. Let's turn that around so that way they can see what that looks like. Now you're ready. You can stain this just like wood. You can lacquer it. You can use the Miracle Paint. You can use the milk paint. The world is your oyster as far as whatever kind of finish you want to be able to create. Now it's really, I think it's elevated it to just another level.
Yes, now you can start adding your WoodCast appliques to furniture and give them more of that European feel.
Kind of gives you an idea as far as the detail and the finish. It really does take it to the next level. All right, so we wanted to hold these up. We wanted you to be able to see with our 3 brand new mold designs that we're introducing. And we put a bundle together for you today so that way you can save some money by getting all 3. The great thing about it is you'll be able to use these hundreds of times. They're going to transform hundreds of pieces of furniture, and we can't wait to see what you do with it. So thank you for your instruction.
It was fun.
And we can't wait for you guys to enjoy the bragging rights and craft a beautiful life.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Get yours today. I'll be honest with you, we're keeping our fingers crossed, but we're afraid we may sell out of these, and take advantage and get all three. These are all original designs, and they're going to allow you to be able to make really, really beautiful furniture.
Aren't we doing this in a bundle?
Yes, we have a bundle. Yes, for all three. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Share this video, tag some good friends, and we're going to be giving away some product to the lucky winners because we believe that sharing is caring. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Sharing's fun.